I'm visiting Helen Mitas in her office and clinic. She's a well-known hypnotherapist and also keynote speaker and author. She has this clinic here in Melbourne, but she's traveling all over the world to conferences to talk about hypnotherapy. And also, she has a consultant business where she helps hypnotherapists to open their business as well as with hypnotherapy questions. In 2018, she won the Hypnotist of the Year award in the Mid-American Hypnotist Conference in Chicago. Before I continue your introduction,
Yes.
tell me, because it's very interesting to me,
Yeah.
what did you do to win this award?
I have no idea. So I was very surprised. I didn't even know that I was a candidate. I didn't even know I was a candidate, seriously. So when they called out my name, I was in shock. I had no speech prepared. So it was at the Mid-America Conference where I was a keynote speaker in October. And that night at the dinner, they announced Hypnotist of the Year, and I was in shock that they said Helen Mitas. I was like, oh my God, I'm an Australian, and this is the Mid-America Conference in Chicago giving me the award. So I thought,
Exactly.
why?
Why?
Why? And they said to me, when I asked them why, they said that, that my work does not go unnoticed. In terms of the work not only that I do in America, but the work that I do in Australia as well, to help our profession be elevated to the level that I really want it to be elevated to. So that's what they said, your work does not go unnoticed. That was the reason they gave me.
How did you feel?
And it's well deserved. I was stunned, I really was. I was so honoured, I could not believe it. For once I was lost for words when it was time to give my speech.
I can understand that.
So when it was time for me to give my speech, I said, for once I'm lost for words.
Yeah.
And all I said was thank you, because I really did not expect it. It was a big shock. But very, very proud. I'll show it to you.
Yeah, sure.
So this is it here. So Hypnotist of the Year 2018. Really proud of that.
Let me see.
So it just goes to show you that really, you don't do this for recognition, but it's really nice to get recognition. But even more important than that, though, I guess, it's great to be recognised by your peers, but even more so by your clients. So after I got the award, I got a lot of messages from former clients who said to me, well deserved, Helen, well deserved. And that's the true recognition, because they're the people that you're working for. So when your clients say well deserved, then you know that that's what it's all about at the end of the day.
Tell me about your clients.
Okay, so at HypnoFit, the kind of clients that we usually attract, all sorts really, for all sorts of issues, but generally speaking, they're people who come here to lose weight. However, they engage in self-sabotaging behaviour due to emotional issues. So we have to deal with the cause before we deal with the symptom. So unlike other hypnotherapy clinics who maybe just deal with the symptom of overeating or the sugar addiction bad habit, we focus on removing the emotional blocks first before we deal with the symptoms. So it's not a 1, 2, 3 session solution. It takes a little bit longer, but we do it properly.
But
so
it lasts for life.
It lasts for life, because really any hypnotherapist can help any client, if they're a good hypnotherapist, lose weight in the short term. But it's not about short-term results, it's about long-term, permanent transformational change. That's what it's about.
I guess you didn't get this award for helping people to weight loss. You do something else, I know.
Yeah, I do a lot of training. So I mentor hypnotherapists around the world. So in my mentoring program, I have hypnotherapists from Dubai, England, Netherlands, Canada, United States of America, New Zealand and Australia. So getting on to nearly 500 hypnotherapists that I do mentor around the world. I've got an online mentoring program, and my biggest desire and vision is that hypnotherapists across the globe will be successful, generally speaking. So it doesn't make any difference in the industry if a few of us are successful. So if a few of us are successful, it's not going to make the impact that we need to make. That's why it's my vision and my goal to make most of us successful. Because if most of us are successful, then people will know about us and people will come to us first, not last. So currently we're the last resort. My vision is that when people experience emotional trauma, they think of going to a hypnotherapist first. And if most of us are successful in a credible, well-known profession, then that's what they'll think of. They'll think of a hypnotherapist, and that's my biggest desire.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. And I understand absolutely how hard it is, because I am a hypnotherapist as well.
Yeah.
And I know how hard to start.
Yes.
So, yeah, mentoring is very important. And if you get your vision, then we hypnotherapists will be the first to go. Then everything would be easier for us.
Yeah.
And for the people as well.
And
because
for people.
hypnotherapy is
That's right. So it really is about having an impact on society, and for them to understand that medication should not be the first port of call. It should be the last resort. That they do have the power of their own mind within them to get the results that they need. So the brilliant thing about our profession, which I love so much, is that it's not anything magical that we do, but we help them connect to their magic and their power and their inner resources. So that's our skill. Our skill is to help them connect to the inner wisdom that everybody has. That's what I love about it. It's not about us saying some incredible words that makes them change the way they think. Sure, we use hypnotic language, and sure, we've got amazing techniques and skills, but that's to help them connect to their inner wisdom and their inner resources.
Yeah, because they are on their way.
Yes.
To get better.
Yeah, exactly.
So we have to trick the conscious mind and the critical thinking for their own benefit.
Exactly.
To reach the subconscious mind and help them to make changes on their own.
Exactly.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
That's right. To make it easy and effortless for them, as opposed to the huge struggle that the conscious mind gives to that particular person. So by bypassing the conscious mind, like you said, we're able to help them connect to their inner wisdom and inner power. So that's my. I really believe that it's going to happen. I really believe that it will. We're at the very formation, at the very beginning of the movement, at the birth of the movement, and I know that this is the way that it's going to be, because the wellness industry is the next $1 trillion industry. There's no doubt about that. That's what the statistics show. And in terms of the consumption of alternative therapies, it's becoming bigger and bigger, because millennials, want a safe, natural solution. Mm-hmm. They don't want a pill-popping solution to life's biggest challenges anymore. They're over that. They want a safe, natural solution. Hypnotherapy is safe and natural. We don't have side effects.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
How did you learn it? I guess you didn't born to be a
No.
Maybe you're born with your mission, but not the knowledge.
Well, I didn't connect to that mission till later on in life. So I was in corporate as a project manager, my last job. So I was in corporate Australia for 22 years. Mm-hmm. So my very last job, I was working for a senior project manager. As a senior project manager, basically, adding to the bottom line of big corporations before I discovered what my true passion and my true purpose was. And so, like anything, the moment you make a decision that something needs to change in your life, that door will open for you. Did you find that? Yeah. And so I made a decision that I could not continue in corporate any longer. I had been working there for 22 years. I was no longer excited about what I was doing, and And I thought, I can't do this for another 22 years. Driving into the city, into the traffic, basically to add to the profit margin of big corporations. That was my sole purpose and job.
Yeah.
So something had to change. And then as soon as I decided that something had to change, the first door opened for me. So the first course that I did was I did my Master Practitioner in NLP and Timeline Therapy. It's the first thing that I did.
That was my first step as well.
There you go. There you go. So that was the first thing I did. And from that moment, I started seeing clients straight away, but seeing them after working on Saturdays, because I still needed to earn an income. I still needed to pay the bills. I still had a huge mortgage that I needed to pay. So many people have the misconception that one day you're working in this job and the next day you're working as a hypnotherapist in a new career. It doesn't happen like that. You have to transition into the new role.
And I will be very interested in know that transition.
Yeah. So the way that I transitioned was that I had to make sure that my current income wasn't impacted when I first started. So I worked full-time as a project manager, and every Wednesday night and Thursday night I would see one client on Wednesday night, one client on Thursday night. By the time he got back from the city, that's all I could see is one client. And then all day Saturday.
How did you get your clients?
My initial clients I got was basically when I first started studying. As I was going through all the techniques that I was learning, I had in my mind people that I could help, like nieces, brother-in-laws, friends.
So family first.
Family first, because I know all the trainers and all the teachers say don't do it, don't go there, don't use these techniques on friends and family. Yeah. But in my mind I thought, if I do not help my friends and family, what am I doing this for? That's what I thought. So
That's a very nice thought, yeah.
And I never listen to what people say to me. Okay, I always do my own thing, whatever I think is right. I don't listen to the rules that people make up. So the first thing that I did was I offered my services not as them doing me a favour, but as me doing them a favour. There's a very big difference. So, many hypnotherapists, they sometimes say to friends and family, can I practice on you? Mm-hmm. Wrong thing. You're the expert. You don't practice. Okay.
Yeah, it's true, especially for hypnotherapy.
Exactly. You have to have that authority
yeah.
for it to be successful. So the way that I would say it is, look, I've learned these amazing techniques which would really benefit you. If you want me to help you, you're going to have to do something as well. You're going to have to do tasks in between sessions. You're going to have to be responsible. You're going to have to really want it. Do you really want it? And they had to prove themselves. They had to do things like tasks in between sessions. Because you can't give away, because, with friends and family, I was doing it for free, basically. Sure. Yeah? So you can't give something to someone without getting some sort of energy back. Otherwise, you don't go to where you need to go to. They need to have buy-in in the process. Mm-hmm. So they needed to show me that they were willing and able to do what they needed to do for their side of things. For instance, one of the very first people that I helped was one of my nephews for confidence. He was going through year 12 at the time. So as a favour back to me as payment, he cut my very first video that I put on my website. So he produced it and he cut it and he did it himself. So it was his payment for my services. So then it was like an exchange of energy. Do you see that? Yeah. It's not just me being the giver and then taking that for granted. It's me actually giving you something very valuable. What are you going to give me back? And that's because there needs to be an equal exchange of energy. And this is where a lot of hypnotherapists and therapists in general fall down, because they're carers, they're nurturers, they're helpers. They want to help mankind, and so they do things at a low price or free. It's not valued, and therefore they don't get the success that they need to get.
Exactly. Plus they are shy to ask for money or enough money.
Exactly.
So the balance even.
That's right. That's right. So by starting off that way, they became my biggest advocates. They became my first testimonials, and then they would tell everybody about my services. They would not do that if they didn't feel the change themselves. So if you started a new business and you said to your relatives, tell people that this is what I do now, I'm a hypnotherapist, they're not going to tell. They're not going to remember. because they don't even know what you're doing. Okay? But
they think you make them quack like a chicken.
Exactly. So they're not going to tell people. You're not front of mind. But if they've experienced a change themselves, if they've stopped smoking, if their habits are under control, if they no longer have anxiety and depression, they're going to not stop talking about you because they can feel it.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that's how I first started, was by basically using my skills on people, and I never used it for the purpose of growing my business. I really didn't. It came from a heartfelt space, which was, I want to help these people. I really want to help these people. I know this now. I can help them. That's how it felt. It wasn't, I'm going to give them my services so they can tell people. I didn't have that intention. The intention was to help them. And then there was a flow-on effect of them telling people, which I didn't expect.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the beginning. And the next thing that I did was, the next important thing that I did was I contacted my local newspaper and told them that I knew how to treat people with depression. So this is a brand new hypnotherapist starting in the field, but I was confident that that was what I could do. And the first time I contacted the paper, they were like, not answering the call, not interested. I did it again. And the third time, because the thing is with reporters, it doesn't mean they're not interested if they don't return your calls. It's just that you got them at the wrong time. They need a newsworthy story. They're after good stories all the time. It's just that if they're busy and they're just about to submit something, they're not going to be answering your call. But if you bother them enough, they will.
And once you get lucky and bother them when they don't have
another
story.
That's right. And so this is what happened.
And so you wanted an interview.
Exactly.
Rather than just advertising in the newspaper.
Advertising is not going to get the impact that an article has.
Mm-hmm.
Because an article is basically a third person, it's social proof, saying this person is an expert. So I set myself as an expert right at the very beginning. So this is what happened. They called me back and they said, because they act very fast, and they said, okay, we're ready to run the story. We're going to send you our photographer tomorrow. Is that okay? Now, this is what happened. I had just had an operation because I was injured at the gym. So somebody smashed a weight in my nose and broke my nose.
Oh my God.
So you can imagine my face was bruised and black, and they're telling me tomorrow they're going to send a photographer to take photos. I had to say yes.
Yeah.
Because if I said no, it didn't mean they're going to come back. This is what you've got to realise.
Yeah.
I'm not Oprah Winfrey. They're not chasing me. Okay? I'm an unknown. And so I said, yes, of course it'll be fun. Oh my God, what am I going to do now? So the next day, of course, makeup, foundation, and covered my face up. And they came and they took photos. And then what did I do? You've got to use every situation that you can possibly can at the maximum level. So I spoke to the photographer and said, any chance I could use those pictures? And he said, I'm not supposed to do this, but okay. And he gave me the pictures, and they were the first pictures that I used on my website, my very first website, professional photos, from a professional photographer that I didn't pay a cent for.
I did the same.
There you go. There you go. Perfect. And I'll show you. This is the article that came out. It blew my mind because look how big it is. This is my first article ever on my business. So that gave quite a bit of business because it puts me up as a expert in depression right at the beginning of my business. And sure, I got some people writing.
And your face looked okay.
It looked okay. I had lots of makeup on, My nose is a bit broader than usual because it was like out here, but that's okay. And I got some hate mail from that because I was daring to say that I could eliminate the symptoms of depression. So who am I to say that? But that's part of the game. If you don't say anything important, then you're not saying anything at all. So you have to be prepared for negative publicity as well. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter about the people that say, you know, all these things about you. It doesn't matter. You know what you can do. And I knew that I could help people with depression because I had already experienced helping a number of people with depression. And then the right people come to me. So you can't be concerned about, you know, the people that speak up against you. You're always going to have those people. And to this day, I still have people who, you know, would criticize my work or the things that I do, but that's part of the journey because it's easy to say nothing, but then you're saying nothing to everybody. And that way you won't get criticism, but you won't achieve anything either. Yeah. So by saying something, which is, I can help people with depression and anxiety, and the most chronic type of depression, I can absolutely help them. And I put my hand on my heart and say that I can absolutely help people with the most chronic type of depression. Doesn't matter whether it's bipolar, doesn't matter what type of depression it is, apart from psychotic depression. So that's the only type of depression where we would refer clients to a psychiatrist. Very, very few instances of that. And that's, what do I mean by psychotic depression? I mean where people are deluded, where they think they are someone they are not. Yeah. That's obviously, you know, some sort of illness.
Yeah, there's too big chemical imbalance.
Well,
needs some chemicals to balance it back. That's
right. Or, you know, they have voices that they hear in their head. Now, I'm not talking about head chatter. We all have head chatter. With people who have, you know, a psychiatric illness, they actually hear, you know, voices being telling them that, you know, someone's doing something bad against them, or, you know, paranoia. So that's different to most people. So, you know, that is a very tiny percentage of people who are actually on medication. Very tiny percentage.
Or should be.
Yeah, that's right. Most people suffer from other types of depression where, you know, it's all about the way they think. And it's all about their belief system about themselves. And it's all about their negative emotions, and it's all about focusing on the past. That's exactly what we do. That's our area. That's our expertise. That's what hypnotherapists do.
Yeah, I would say depression is when you focus on the past, and anxiety when you focus on the
future. Correct, correct. And so, as hypnotherapists, that's what we do. That's what we help people do, is help them overcome those symptoms of depression and anxiety. That's what we do best, and that is my ultimate wish and hope, is that people understand that we're more than just quit smoking specialists. That, you know, because we're well known for that. We're well known, you know, to help people stop smoking. People don't realise that we do way more than that. Way more than that. And that I want people to understand that number one thing that we can do is help them overcome their negative emotions, their beliefs about themselves, and what they think they can and can't do, so that they can move forward in life.
Yeah. Tell me more about when you start, when you didn't quite have this much knowledge, you wasn't this sure about what you are doing, because I'm sure when you started, you wasn't this sure.
For sure. You know, it's absolutely like when you first start your own business, it's terrifying.
It is.
Because it's, you know, all of a sudden you're saying, oh, I'm going to be responsible for paying my bills. You know, no more sick leave, no more annual leave, no more definite salary coming in, no matter what. You know, it's all up to you. That's a very scary proposition. So I didn't actually finish telling you my transition process. I got a bit sidetracked. So my transition process was, first of all, Wednesday night, Thursday night, all day Saturday. Okay. And then I made a rule for myself, and the rule was the moment that clients would not wait to see me because I was booked up on a Saturday, Wednesday night, Thursday night, and they couldn't wait 4 weeks or 5 weeks for the next Saturday or Wednesday or Thursday night, then I had to drop a day off work. So one thing that I was definite about is I wasn't going to affect my future because of my current circumstances. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So too many people make decisions about their future based on their current circumstances. And that's like allowing that chain to stay around your neck. You can't move forward if you've still got the chain around your neck. So I made a decision at the moment that I started to lose clients, which was my future, because I couldn't fit them into my inflexible schedule, which was only Saturdays or Wednesday night or Thursday night, then I would have to go to part-time. So that's the first thing that I did, was I went to part-time. The first day that I dropped off was a Monday, of course, because by that stage I hated Mondays. And, Sunday nights I almost used to get heart palpitations from anxiety from, having to go and do a job that I now hated. Because, it's one thing to be working in a job that you don't like, but when you discover your passion and your true life calling, which for me was hypnotherapy, and then
still have to go
to
work
and, basically follow someone else's commands to add to the profit of their big business, which you no longer care about, okay, then it becomes even worse. And so then Sunday nights, it was always like, oh, here we go again, I've got to do this again. So first day I want to drop was Monday. Yeah. So then I was seeing clients all day Saturday, all day Monday, Wednesday night, Thursday night. And then when I say this, it's not like this happened 1 week after and 1 week after that and then 1 week after that.
How long did it take?
To go from when I first started seeing clients, which was, so I finished my training 31st of May 2010. My
NLP or the hypnotherapy?
The NLP and timeline therapy, and then I did my diploma in hypnotherapy after that. But I was seeing clients, so I finished 31st May 2010, and I had my very first paying client. So I had heaps of non-paying clients. Yeah. I had my very first paying client mid-August. August 2010.
Yeah.
August 2010, which to me was so euphoric. The first time someone said yes to me, I was beside myself with joy, because suddenly the thought that you had in your head is suddenly reality. It's a business,
How much you charged?
The very, very first client that I charged was, I always did programs. I never charged sessions.
Ah, clever.
Always, from the very beginning. So it was $1,200, my very first program that I sold.
Already not cheap.
Already not cheap. I never wanted to be the cheapest hypnotherapist around.
May I ask how much you charge now?
It depends. Now, whether you're referring to... It depends, because we have so many different programs, and it depends, what they're doing. So the process is that people come here to HypnoFit for a complimentary consultation, and then we just decide what's the right program for them, and then that's the price point. So it depends where anxiety, is it depression, is it weight loss, is it everything, it's all
different because you don't have just one program,
we don't have one program.
That's
right. Where we slot people into the right program. So then the same thing happened again, and then I got rid of Tuesday at my work. So then I was seeing clients all day Saturday, all day Monday, all day Tuesday, Wednesday night and Thursday night. And I finally resigned. And so from the moment that I stopped my training, so I started working, to the time that I was full-time hypnotherapist, was about probably 18 months. Full-time hypnotherapy. But by that time I was definite and I was sure that my calendar would be booked up. So it wasn't maybe, it was, because it was a transition.
Yeah. Did you have a system, like marketing system or something?
So I always believe in mentors. I never did anything on my own. I think that people who spend all this money on training and on therapy, but then don't have a business mentor, they're not going to achieve what they're going to achieve. It's as simple as that. Because it's too hard to do things on your own, and it makes no sense to spend money here and hope it works, spend a bit of money here, hope it works. What I call the spray and pray approach. Just spray it and then pray that it works. You need to follow someone who's done it before you. And I've always done that in every area of my life. So whether it was when I lost weight, I went to an expert to lose weight. When it was, many years ago, I had a step family that I was suddenly in charge of, I did a step families course, because I didn't know how to be a stepmother. I learned, if there's a gap in my life and I've got a problem, I just find a solution. And the solution is someone who's done it before me. Now, back when I started hypnotherapy, I wasn't fortunate in the sense that there were no hypnotherapy mentors or coaches. There were just general business coaches. So I had to spend a lot of money on coaches who gave me generic advice. And so that's why when I created my 15 steps to hypnosis business success, it was specific to hypnotherapists. But having said that, even though these people were generic coaches, I still learned something from all of them.
Yeah, of course.
Plus my own experience.
Still about the system. So your concept is to always get mentors. How did you find the mentors?
Well, when I first started, this sounds very funny, but the only person that I could think of was Tony Robbins.
Oh, okay.
Because he's like, who's the most successful person I know? Tony Robbins. So the first course that I did was Business Mastery by Tony Robbins, which cost $10,000 for a 4-day course. Now, I was fortunate because, I didn't have $10,000 savings, but I had a line of credit on my home loan, which meant that I could take $10,000 off my home loan, which is a form of borrowing, to pay for the course.
Brave.
So, again, I got what I could from there, the gems that I could from there, and then implement it. And the thing is, you've got to implement. And then after that, I've got another mentor, and then another mentor, and then another mentor. I don't have a mentor at the moment, but I feel I'm at a place where I'm fine. I don't need a mentor right now. But if I was stuck for a particular reason or a particular issue that I needed help with, of course I would. But I would always get that person who's ahead of me in the journey. I would never get someone who just professes or pretends to be ahead of me. I would need to see proof and know that they're ahead of me and that they're doing what I want to do. And I think that's very important. You need to follow the person who actually has been there and done that. Because too many people listen to advice of unsuccessful people. And, when I first start mentoring some people, sometimes I say to them, this is what you need to do, boom, boom, boom. And they say, oh, but I've been told something different. I said, well, how successful are they? Yeah. And they say, oh, that's true. That's right. Why are you listening to unsuccessful people? So as Tony Robbins says, success leaves clues. So you need to listen to those people who have already been there and done that. They're going to give you the shortcut because they've already made mistakes and they already know the best way there. Like myself, I've made many, many, many mistakes. And so my people that, are on my mentoring program, they benefit from the fact that I'm teaching them the fast track as opposed to the way that I went around because I've learned through my mistakes as to the quickest, most effective and most efficient way to get to your goals.
Tell me about your mistakes.
Well, I've had many. One of the things that I did wrong at the beginning was wanting to do everything. So I would hear somebody say, this is the best thing to do, so I'll do that. Somebody else say, no, this is the best thing to do, so I'll do that. Somebody else says, this is the best thing to do, so I'll do that. So I'm doing a lot of things and getting nowhere really fast.
Yeah. And they were not connected, I guess.
Not connected, and it's the shiny ball syndrome. It's like chasing the shiny ball. What's the latest shiny ball?
Yeah.
So you're giving a lot of energy, a lot of money, a lot of effort, but you're not focused. So you will get results when you focus on one thing. That's why when people come to me, for mentoring, and they say, I want to create great workshops, and I say, okay, how many clients do you see? They don't see many. I say, well, forget about it.
Who you want to make workshop for?
Forget about it. The one-to-many model comes after the one-to-one model. First, you have to have your bread and butter, okay? It creates effort and energy to create workshops. You don't have that. You need money coming in. So the way that you have money coming in is one-to-one, okay? We need to get that right first, I say to them, before you go to the one-to-many model, okay? You can't sit there with no clients and want to create workshops. That's not viable. Okay? You need to first focus on seeing one-to-one, the way that I did. I didn't create any workshops until my business was flat out automatically seeing that one-to-one person first.
Mm. Did you ever wanted to have a system ready to use?
Did I want to have a system?
Yeah, or you built one or find one? Because as I see it, you need to have some kind of system for your business and as well for your practice. For
you
your
absolutely
therapy.
need systems and structure. And so that's the first thing I did. So, I told you before, Nicholas, that I have, many programs at HypnoFit that we offer clients. Well, when I first started, I had one program. Okay, and that's all you need to begin with, is one program. And that's enough. So yes, as soon as I started, I created a program. That was one of the very first things that I did, was create a program, which is a system. It's taking clients through a system and a structure. That's the first thing that I did. Always did that. And then, as I see more clients, and they have different needs, then you can build on your programs and change your programs. But to begin with, because, I don't want people to feel overwhelmed and think, oh, what am I going to do? I don't have programs. Doesn't matter. You just create one to begin with. Forget about perfectionism. Perfectionism slows you down and keeps you in the slow lane. My first website looked crap. My first videos looked crap. My first ebook was crap. It doesn't matter. It's out there. And the right people still see it. So it's not about having the best product out there, it's just being out there.
What would be your very best and quick advice for people who are just out from the academy or whatever, what kind of therapy they do, and they want to start their business, but they are frightened, and I think that's very usual. I learned hypnotherapy, or I learned counseling, or NLP, or whatever what they learned, but they are not sure if they really can do it. What if I make mistakes?
Yeah.
What if I make a fool of myself?
So just remember, your clients don't know about mistakes. So no matter where you are in the journey, even if you've never seen any clients before, you're still ahead of the journey than your client who's coming to you.
That's a very good advice.
Okay?
Yeah.
So, the journey is that you're here, your clients are still at the beginning. So you are usually attracting your former self. I mean, myself, I experienced anxiety and depression over 20 years ago. Okay, so I am attracting my former self. So just from my training and my self-development, I am further ahead of the journey than my former self. So no matter what, you can help your former self because you've moved along the journey. So right at the very, very, very beginning of your experience as a hypnotherapist, you've still got way more to offer than your clients possibly know. Way more. Yeah? Even at beginning at zero, you've got way more to offer because you're ahead of them in the journey. And the second thing I would say is stop comparing yourself to others, because whether you're being a hypnotherapist for 20 years or for 2 months, you have got something unique to offer the world that only you know about, because nobody has had your experience. Nobody. And we're all different, and we are not each other's competitors, we're each other's support system. So the people that would visit, you are different to the people that would visit me. We attract different people. We have our own tribe. So we're not each other's competitors. And you've got to just get out there. Be loud and proud of who you are. Don't be afraid to say hypnotherapist because people think you're some sort of weirdo. Tell people proudly and loudly who you are, what you do, what you're passionate about. People connect to passion. So don't talk from here, talk from here.
Very wise advice, yeah. And I think it applies not only for hypnotherapists, other helping professions as well.
Yeah, absolutely, for anybody. Absolutely.
How do you see yourself in 5 years and 10 years?
I see the HypnoFit brand going global.
Good.
Yeah, so I've got...
And what will that mean for you?
So what I want is when people think of hypnotherapy, they actually think of HypnoFit. So to have HypnoFit practitioners across the globe helping people achieve their goals by helping them overcome emotional blocks and self-sabotaging behaviours.
Mm-hmm. What will that mean for you? Who you will be?
Basically who I am now, which is an advocate for our profession. So that's I always see myself as an advocate for the world's best profession.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're full of passionate people. That's what I love about hypnotherapists, is that wherever you go, they're kind people, they're caring people, and they're passionate. Not many professions you'll get that. Not many professions you'll get people supporting each other and genuinely loving their work. Not many people, and not many professions. So we're very blessed and very lucky to be in this amazing profession.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Do you want to say any other message?
Basically, if anyone's interested in finding out more about what I offer, just my website is helenmitas.com, so HelenMitas.com, where if you've got any question at all, I'll be happy to answer it.
That's great.
Okay, no worries.
Thank you very much.
You're
I'm
most
really
welcome.
honored to be here and to talk to you.
Thank you. I feel
That's lovely.
very honoured to be your first guest. Okay.
That's lovely.
Thanks, Nicholas.